Alright then. Okay, so I'm just getting a bunch of ridiculous info from YouTube then. Right. Okay then. Right, we're good to go then. All I had to do is actually have some patience, which is something that I've not got in bucket loads. So I'm gonna go over and get a drink just now, but seeing as some folk will be watching this kind of afterwards, basically I'm just gonna do what I usually do for the roundup stuff, but live. I don't actually know what albums will be popping up. I've managed to sort it out so that it'll be kind of a slideshow. It'll be a random album each time. An album that I've listened to, obviously, but I don't know which order they're gonna be. I might go through like 5 albums at a time, and then after after that, I'll see if you guys have said anything about them, and we'll just kind of go for that if that sounds good to you. Um, but from the sounds of it, the stream is fine. So I'll just be 2 seconds. Just need to double check that, yep, on the right mic. So I'll just say hi to Ned, Harry, and Mike just now for being real G's. I know there's other folk watching just now, but these aren't talking, so stop being rude. But also, let's get started. So, oh, and there's Connor as well. Right. So, Harry, or any of yous actually, just let me know if you see this artwork popping up. You guys see that? Yes. Good. Good. That's a picture of my dad, just so you guys know. So I think he's got a really nice smile. So we're gonna start then, I guess, with the Kevin Abstract project, which Arizona Baby, that's what it's called. See, this is why it always takes me so long to actually do these roundups, because I'm always misremembering stuff. Arizona Baby, I thought was fine. Stuff like Peach is gorgeous, just as close to as good as American Boyfriend is. But there was also a few songs I just thought kind of like like Kevin's always been kind of like the head honcho of Brockhampton, and I feel like he brings a lot of like the good and the bad attributes from that experience. That being sometimes the vocal pitch and the vocal scaling, some of that really annoying stuff is on here. Um, so that kind of brings it down a fair bit. I can't lie. And like I said, there's not really there's also Georgia. Georgia was a really good one. I remember when there was 2 EPs that came out. This was like the cover for one of them, and I can't remember the name of the other one. But I remember both Peach and Georgia being standouts. I'm actually gonna open Spotify just so I can actually remember track names, because I'll just be more on the spot. But really, it was the vocal scaling that got to me a bit, and I just felt that the creativity just wasn't all there as much as I was hoping there to be anyway. And hopefully, if I do this right, I'm actually gonna be able to put a score on the screen as well. There we go. There we go. That's all you guys are here for anyway. Some good old scores. I also need to actually maybe put this on Twitter. So we'll go through 2 more, and I'll see what you guys are saying to it. What's gonna be an album that nobody in the stream's gonna care about? The Biffy Clyro album. Is the score popped up for you guys there? I mean, I'm about to take it off anyway because it's not relative to this one here. But so in the Biffy Clyro project, which was a soundtrack for this film called Balance Not Symmetry. Apparently, it's a really bad film. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought? The the songs on here, there's a lot of just kind of like instrumentals, like just purely instrumental songs. And I get why they're obviously keen, like the backdrop for these scenes in the movie that I've not seen yet, so maybe they're fitting. But in terms of like an album listening experience, they're just very plain Jane, not much going to it. The title track is good. I remember that one being a good one. Let me get up the actual album just now. The running time here, I can't beat around the bush. It is like dragging big time. It's like an hour and 5 minutes, which again, an hour and 5 minutes could be something like most artists could probably make do with that amount of time, but it really shows. Balance Not Symmetry is good. Sunrise is also pretty tasty. They're like the only two tracks I would actively come back for. There's definitely really awful, but a lot of the remnants of the ellipsis sound that they're going for are here. I wish it was a bit crazier, but with hit their current trajectory, I'm kind of made peace with the fact that Biffy are just gonna do what they're doing, and I hope they enjoy doing it anyway. I'll probably check them out every time it comes out, so you're not gonna be surprised by this one. I'm gonna go for a 5 on Balance Not Symmetry, and Biffy indeed got stiffy. I'm seeing. I saw your comment there about Fever Dream, and I don't really think anything really did quite meet like Wee Man levels of like kind of eccentricity and like old Biffy days. I'm glad you really liked it, obviously. But for me, just I gave it 2 goals, and I just didn't feel like there was much to come back for. Maybe I'll return to it near the end of the year, but I just really don't think there's that much to go away. One more and then I'll look at the chat. Or 2 more, who knows. One more and I'll do the Twitter thing. Oh, the Freddie Gibbs album. I'm not really sure where to start on this one, because I think the general consensus is that people really like this album. And I can totally see why. I like the album. I'm just gonna be upfront and say that, like, so you guys don't think that I'm gonna hit out with like a really hot take on it. I do think that Freddie's style of rapping at a certain point becomes a bit mundane. The features are kind of hit and miss. I was really expecting more from Killer Mike, and I just didn't really get much. But all these kind of tales about crime, about just it kind of feels like a Martin Scorsese film with a hip hop sheen to it, which I was really quite a big fan of. And obviously Madlib, his production, it never really like it's never really been bad, has it? Like, it's always been quite, at the very least, pleasant. Is it as good as the is it 2014? Is it Pinata? I don't know if it's Pinata or not. It sounds silly me saying that, but yeah, it was good. It was good. I would go back to it. Crime Pays and Flat Tummy Tears to the songs. It kind of are really catchy, which I wasn't expecting. Like, sometimes when I'm at work, I'm just like, I've just got the hooks just going on in my head. So for the fact that I think that it's a long way from being album of the year for me, but it's getting the classic Liam Menzies 7 out of 10. And it was Pinata, so I wasn't wrong. You know that way that sometimes, even though you've said an album name or artist in your head that many times, when you're live, it just feels like you're just gonna fuck up. Right, next up. For some of these I might just do really quick because there's 50 that we'll get through and I don't want to keep you guys too long. But I don't want to rush it either. Okay, this one nobody's gonna care about. The new Poppy EP, Choke. It was just basically like her last album. She's trying to balance like this soft, like kind of like the YouTube persona, being all nice and cute, and then being kind of quirky and then coming on with like new metal, kind of post rock, just like kind of like doom stuff. And it was cool the first time, but it just seems like I would much rather that she kind of goes all in, or just kind of tries to capture the nuances, because it just feels really flat and shallow with what she's trying to go for. I do think it could be something a lot more interesting if she was to put more time into it, but it just, at this moment in time, I didn't really enjoy my listens with this EP too much. There was that one with Fever 33 Dream, which was bad, but also found it so enjoyable. Like, I kept putting it on. That can be said for a lot of these. Like they're just fine. They're just fine, which is why I'm just gonna go for a 5 on that one. And last one before I put this out on Twitter, what's it gonna be? Oh, the Weather Day album coming. This artist, I'm just gonna keep going with the they them pronouns. They got put onto my radar thanks to that Rick the Lie review, which was really put me onto it. And once I actually got around to it, yeah, this is the influences are painfully clear, but just because influences are clear doesn't mean that the music itself isn't good. I think in a way where they managed to kind of put their own spin on it a little bit. Something like Sputnik's Sweetheart is just easily one of the best tracks I've heard all year. Does not falter at all. Justifies that 13-minute runtime so much. The whole themes of like struggling to let yourself be open, struggling with an identity, even just by like kind of like the artwork of just like kind of opening the door, it's something that's always easier said than done, and I think it's explored in a really interesting way. And I can see this really growing on me a fair bit, which is exciting to say, considering the fact that I have got it at an 8 at the moment. So I'm just going to pop on over to Twitter right now. Two wee ticks. I should probably say something like that's really convincing, but I'm just gonna say, come join me on my stream talking about cool music. Kiss kiss, because of course. So what are you guys saying to it? Scott, love Bandana and still listening to it, but Freddy's delivery seemed overpowered by Madlib's beat on tracks like Massage Seats. I kind of agree on that. There's not quite the balance I was hoping for. Obviously, things don't have to be balanced to be what's need to be done. Like sometimes the delivery has to be a bit more in front and kind of like the whole reason people are listening to it. But I do think that Madlib seemed to be on stronger form. Though I do think that Freddie, for the most part, would I like I say, I just wish that he kind of was a bit more. He just spiced up his delivery a bit more, because I did think his flow was maybe verging on getting a bit mundane. And like I'm with you there on the opening guitar to Crime Pays. It's just it's just etched there. It's not leaving. And how you thought Pusha smashed his feature. I don't think Pusha ever like falters at all. He's always at the very least like serviceable, but I didn't really remember, which I guess kind of shows kind of what I made of it. And Ricky's so thicky, that's yep. I mean, we can't deny that. Heaps can't deny that. Sorry for not including Carl on my fictional musicians list. Maybe I do a volume 2. Anyway, what's up next? Let me take away that score, because no doubt it'll be something like Logic pops up and that'll just get taken out of context. Right. Oh, that's quite apt. That's quite apt. The Car Seat Headrest live album, Commit Yourself Completely. I have not seen much talk about this. Like, I think when it came out, there was people talking about it, and that's being it. And I'm really surprised by that, especially because it's not like people aren't going to hype up a live album. I know obviously it's never going to be quite on the same level as like a studio release of like a new Car Seat Headrest record, but y'all were going on about the LCD Sound System one. Why not this one? Because bar that Frank Ocean cover, which is fine. It's fine now. It's not as horrible as it was the first time around. Anyone that knows me already knows the story about how I said to him on Twitter, don't play that. He told me to fuck off in Glasgow. And that venue is now burned down to the ground. I'm not going to say anything else. But all these performances on here, they're all from different. They're all taken from different different parts of the tour, and you wouldn't see if I hadn't told you that, or if you already listened to it, maybe the first time you listened to it. Did you not think that it could have just easily all been at the one show? Because I thought that was what I found really impressive. A lot of the songs that they end up playing, I think they get a good wee mix of the Car Seat Headrest catalogue. Let me just double check that, because what have we got? Cosmic Hero, Fill in the Blank, Drugs with Friends, Bodies. Bodies is just it's a top 5 Car Seat Headrest song. Like, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's just like being there. All the songs sound just as good as they do studio wise, but they sound different enough that you're not kind of thinking to myself, "Oh, why should I go? Why should I go listen to this if I could just listen to the studio versions of it?" It's a very easy 8 for me. It would have very well been a 9 if it weren't for that Frank Ocean cover, which again is fine, but if it weren't there, it would have been a much easier album to give that level of undying praise. Up next, the Watsky album. This sucks. This is a bad album. One of those kind of artists who think they're a lot smarter than they actually are. There's a whole bunch of lines that I know some people are going to kind of copy and paste into the chat at this point. There's that one about what about, is it something to do with like, what if all the pollen is from all the flowers fucking or something like that? He really thought he was saying something with that. The only one that I would call good, not even good, like the one that's like, if you made me listen to one of the songs, it would probably be Limos for Emos, whatever it's called. Which I keep getting the hook caught in my head, but like again, it's in that cliche way of just because something catchy isn't good, haha, STI or whatever. It's just a really painful, generic, like what's the act called again? Hobo Johnson, kind of like that, kind of just like you think you're saying something, but you're not, and the production is just so sterile. It is just, it's no good. Which is why I'm gonna go for the lowest score of the stream so far, a 3. I'm gonna do 2 more of these releases, and I'll kind of come into the chat with you guys. The Crash Talk by Schoolboy Q. Really disappointed by this. I don't know if everyone else was, but I still really like Oxymoron, and even Blank Face I think has some really good tunes on it, but this was just bad. I had to check what the song was called again. I think it was one with, I don't know if it was one with Travis Scott. I'll know it when I see it. I think it's called Chopsticks. Yeah, it was Chopsticks. Yeah, Chopsticks was bad. It was really bad. This album should have been good just from the features alone, I think. Because when you look at it, you've got Kid Cudi, 21 Savage, and Travis Scott. Like Travis Scott usually should come through with like a half decent kind of hook, but not that at all. And the album is 14 tracks, 39 minutes. And I just don't feel like anything gets properly developed. But it's not a case of like that being like they want to make something. He was wanting to make something a bit kind of abstract or kind of like a bit stripped back at all. Nah, he thought he was doing something here. Num Num Juice is probably the closest to a good track on here, and even then, I just find that it just kind of like it never quite goes anywhere. I just find it quite unfulfilling. Which is why I'm also gonna go for a 3 on this one. And one more. And I'll pop in for you guys. The Lizzo album. Okay, so this one, for my group of friends anyway, has been kind of divisive. I'm just gonna be upfront and say that Lizzo is an artist and as a person, I greatly admire. I saw her live at Primavera. Just what a showman. Just like, you owe it to yourself to see her at some point. If you can afford to go see her, then you need to. Even if you don't think her music is all that, you're severely doing yourself a disservice by not going to see her. This album, on the other hand, it's good. I would say it's good. I kind of think that the production can feel a bit overblown, and sometimes it's just a bit kind of, that way that something. I'm trying to think of like that way that pineapple tastes really nice, but if you have too much pineapple, like the kind of juices in that just start to like really like make your tongue feel itchy and in pain. This is what that album can do on the production front. I feel like by the time I get to the Gucci Mane song, I'm kind of bit fatigued on it. There is some phenomenal songs on here. Cause I Love You, Like a Girl, Juice, Jerome, and Better in Colour. I quite like. I still don't know how I feel about Tempo because I keep going back and forth in my head thinking, oh, it's not being body shaming. It is being body shaming. I don't know where I stand on it. funnily enough, tempo's got a good tempo. It's a good dance song and that. And Missy Elliott's good on it, but the sentiment kind of think it goes against what Lizzo's trying to stand for. But I don't know. Maybe it's not my kind of place to really say that. But like I said, the production could just feel a bit overpowering. And not in a good way, because it's already like Lizzo's voice is already super super strong. Like I know you want to kind of like match it in that, but I just no. I really think that it comes to our upcoming album whenever that happens, that she should kind of tone it down a little bit, or at least kind of refine it in a sense where it just feels a bit more fitting. I'm gonna go for a 6 on it. 6 still a good score. I feel like I need to say that because someone's gonna be mad at me if I don't. Um, right. So what were we saying here? What? Remember when Watsky was on Epic? I didn't know this. Watsky was on Epic Rap Battles of History. He's had multiple appearances. Oof, this is some lore here. If I was able to like kind of stream my screen just now, we'd all be watching that instead of hearing me talk. Mike Blankface LP is one of my favourite rap. Oh, did somebody else? I take it somebody else said that was one of their favourites. Oh, yeah, it's yeah. I thought the Kanye song is amazing. The title track is great too. Um, but with this new album, it's just sad. It's just sad. It kind of just shows at this point that Top Dog Entertainment is a bit reliant on Kendrick and SZA at this point, because even then, does SZA not have that like collection of B-sides that got released on Spotify under a different name, and they just sounded horrible? I don't know if that was actually legit her like leaks or not, but whoever was doing that, that's kind of shit. Right, how many albums have we went through so far? Let's see. Somebody who's good at counting. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we've done 9 so far. Yes, yes. I'm taking a wee drink. That's why I'm known for my water, but it was my birthday recently, so there we go. That's every rum and coke, because I wouldn't usually have it. Try and make sure not to have it on my own, or have it on its own. Anyway, dedicated. Oh, I feel like I'm pretty confident in saying that this is it's definitely as good as Emotion and Emotion Side B. She's just, how did Carly manage to up her game? I just really don't get it. I think at this point it's kind of evident that she's an artist that didn't just. I think some people maybe thought Emotion was a fluke, but she's from day one she's always been an artist that's taken herself quite seriously. This is something that she feels quite passionately about. I know that's kind of like, can sometimes be an excuse of they're passionate about it, so you can't trash her music. Her earlier stuff, yeah, Kiss is a fine album. I'll go back to it for certain cuts. Emotion, amazing. And this one as well, amazing. Real Love might very well be my favourite Rae Jepsen song ever. It's very rare, I think, to have, or maybe not even rare, but I can't really quite recall a song this year with such gusto and authenticness, while also being surrounded by this like artificial and bombastic production. It's just convincing. It's a really convincing love song. This is a really convincing love album. Everything about it just feels so kind of organic in terms of what Carly's saying. I really don't think there's a bad song on it at all. I don't think there's like a half alright song. Like, I'm trying to think what my least favourite song on here would be, but I'm really struggling to see. This is not, we're talking about like the one where For Sure is the last song, not Party for One. I don't know. No, this is a very easy 9 for me. Like, no qualms at all. This is just a fantastic pop album. Seeing a good chunk of this live was phenomenal. Like look at like if you have to look at like the first 4 track run with Julie, No Drop Like Me, Now That I Found You, Want You in My Room. Oh mate, I love this album. I've not got an album near at the moment, but this is like one of like several contenders right now. So yeah, yeah, I just love this album. Oh, the yin and yang here. The Lewis Capaldi album, Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent, I think it's called. And I really remember that because of all the jokes people were making. We were saying like, "Oh yeah, it kind of shows because it's really uninspired." To be fair, if I was reviewing and I got the first review out, I'd definitely be making that joke. Every song sounds the same. Lewis Capaldi, friend of the podcast, by the way, but every every song sounds the same. It's just the same, just limping along love song. 99% of it has like some piano. Apparently, one of Frank Ocean's main writers helped out in some of these songs, and I'm just kind of bewildered by that. I don't know if it was the whole album or certain songs, but yeah, I'm trying to think of like I always try and think of like a good thing, like how I did with the Watsky album there. Um, I'll say that um the big song from it, the Someone You Loved, yeah, Someone You Loved, that's it. It has a good music video, and it's fine. That song's fine, but the rest are just kind of like copy and paste jobs, like, and it already feels kind of like James Arthery enough without that. Um, Doubt you'll be watching it, but I might bump into him on Buchanan Street. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10. That's an easy one for me. He's a good. I will say he's a good. He's a GC, as we say, a GC. With all the charity stuff, I just feel like I need to say that so I can be positive. But in terms of his music, I'm not here for it. And I'm gonna jump back into the chat after this one here. The Oliver Tree EP. I can't remember the name of it just now, and I don't want to waste time trying to look for it. This one's fun though. It's really fun. I know you might be this like big meme artist. Just look at the outfit on that EP cover. Like he's a big meme, but oh my god, some kind of good bops on this. I will say though that I'm pretty sure at least two of these songs are actually have already been kind of released like a while back. So I don't know if that's just kind of, it might seem like kind of like a repurposing, like just trying to add some length to it when it didn't really need it. The song Heart is like, it kind of feels like 21 Pilots mixed with Little Peep, which could sound totally horrific to some of you, but I just found it so fun. Miracle Man and Alien Boy were also just some cuts that just feel so full of life. But I will say that it did become almost a little bit one note. It always felt kind of like upbeat and just full of like exuberance and that. But like I just it was starting to become a bit too 2D, and that I would like to see him kind of push himself a bit more. But I did have fun with it. So I'm giving this a 6 as well. But this is like a really strong 6 Virgin on a 7 right now. I feel like by the time this stream is gone with, I'll come back to it and I'll probably bump it up. But for the moment, it's a 6. Right. He's an Harry, Harry, why do you know so much about epic rap battles of history? Um, uh, I applaud you. Also, the Cure at Summer Sessions, right? I want to know what you thought of it, Harry. Anyone else that was there also want to know what you thought of it. But Harry, I didn't get to see. Harry was there, and I didn't get to see him. Because I was there for about a good half of it, and on a birthday, whoop. But at a certain point, I just felt kind of faint. My legs were aching. It was so muddy. I knew that I wasn't gonna get home till about probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just already feeling just so shattered. So I was just at a certain point, I just said to Mary, I was like, let's just head. I saw all the songs that most of the songs I was dying to see. God, I didn't get to Disintegration, but I feel I was getting to that point where I was just kind of mentally drained, just quite mentally drained and just exhausted. But I thought it was an absolute blast. It was incredible to see so many of my favorite songs from Disintegration head in the door. 17 seconds. Well, as I was leaving, a forest was playing. Where we're like walking down this like really dark, seedy little bit. And it was just, oh, it was giving me chills. Like it was already giving me chills just because of how good the song is. But at that moment, it was really something. Let's see. Right. And David's here. David has showed up with Oliver Tree, more like Oliver P. And you know what, mate? So true. So true. I can't even argue with that. Right. So we're. I don't know how long we've been streaming for, about half an hour. I don't know how many of these albums done. Let's do like a quick fire. We'll do a quick fire unless it's like an album I really like. It's the Vampire Weekend album. I like to. I've kind of went down on it a little bit. I don't think it really justifies a lot of the runtime. It does have some of their best songs to date, with Harmony Hall, How Long. I think Unbearably White is really good. I thought Steve Lacy was fine. Sunflower is like a really fun song, but Flora Moon, I'm not too big a fan of. Um, I think about 58 minutes. I think you could take 8 or 9 of these songs, like kind of do it in like a typical Vampire Weekend fashion, and you would have got like an album that goes toe to toe with their other releases. But at this moment, it's the weakest Vampire Weekend album. But I still have fun with it. It could, if when I do a top 50, it might scrape like one of the lower positions. But we'll see. There's been a lot of like 8s and above. So as you'd guess from that, I'm giving it a 7 just now. Right. What's next? Okay. I knew it was going to end up popping up where it's like, as soon as I say, we're going to go quick succession, unless there's an album I really like, we're going to get to Flamboyant by Dorian Electra. Oh, what an artist. This is everything that I want from Bubblegum Bass, where it's like, it feels meaningful, but I can just listen to it in the sense of just like having just like fun. It's just, you can like kind of turn your brain off, and you can just get lost in these soundscapes where they're just kind of like, this is like overpowering to like a good extent here, where it's just, you just get lost in the sauce. Whereas also if you're trying to listen to it in a very like kind of like artsy critic way, there's a lot to be said about this album when it comes to identity, when it comes to ego, when it comes to dynamics. I do think you could do a good to be think piece on this record. Dorian has hit it out of the park. I wish them all the best for the future, because I really do think they're coming with a sound that is something we're kind of used to, but they are pushing it. They are making it feel just in a way where this, for me, again, their album of the year contender. This is really pushing the boat. My favorite song on it is either the title track, Guyliner, Musical Genius. So it's got Daniel Brady. Is that it? Dan Brady, that from 100 Gecs. You can tell it's such a eccentric, crazy project, and I love it. I really do love it. Which is why it's getting a 9. It's getting a 9. No surprises there. What's up next? Okay, don't need to spend too much time on this. Floor Seats by ASAP Ferg. I don't want to say it's bad. It's just the good and the bad are balanced, but it's like, I'm trying to think. The bad stuff on it is on that one song with the Prodigy sample, and just what happens to his voice in the chorus is so great. And because actually, like, the way the Prodigy sample's flipped sounds so cool. And that song in general is just like the epitome of the whole release. There's like a cool thing that will happen, and then at some point something atrocious will appear. The best song on it, probably the one with ASAP Rocky on it. I think those two work really well together, shown by Shabba on Traplord. That's a 5. I think it's like literally a balance act right here. What's up next? Kel Chris, Guns. I like this one. I don't know if there's much I can say about this, just like off the cuff, because it's such a lyrically dense project. How it, like, unsurprisingly explores guns, how they're used as a kind of an object of oppression, how kind of like the political ramifications of it in terms of like uprising, while also kind of keeping folk down. It's something that really does. It says a lot about society, bottom text, and some of the production as well is quite impressive. Like, I think a lot of these quote unquote conscious hip hop projects, sometimes they don't need to focus too much on the kind of production ends of things, but I don't think, like, especially on stuff like Obamacare, like, I do find myself like really invigorated on all fronts. So I'd go for an 8 on this one. And let's see. Oh, the Flume mixtape, which is like a whole other topic about what a mixtape means in this day and age. This is just incredible. The flow of this project. I'll go out and say that the only real gripe that I've got with it, I think JPEG Matthews one kind of stifles it a little bit, because like his performance is fine, but he just does this whole kind of like shout out to this person, shout out to that person. It kind of just drags out a bit. I don't really like it. But some of the production in this is just sublime. The two Sophie songs. One's a remix of Is It Cold in the Water, another one is Voices. And Voices, the way that it kind of transitions into the song Mud, I think it gives me chills. Like, I don't know how many times I listen to that song, but every time I just feel like it just gets under my skin. Really wasn't expecting much from a Flume project in 2019, but now I would definitely consider him somebody that I'm gonna pay attention to. He's always been on my radar. He's done like remixes of like popular indie acts and collaborated with some. He's had some like big songs and like adverts and stuff. But this is like kind of a case where I'm like, oh shit, I should be actually pay attention to this guy. So this one's gonna be an 8 for me. Easy peasy there. One more, and I'll see what you guys are saying to it. Oh, the Billy Woods and Kenny Segal project, Hiding Places, again, an album that I could write about for days because of what it says. Really, all you need to do is listen to a song like Red Dust, where he's speaking about how, like, in a really detailed fashion, about these people, like, how these people that have wronged others, what he would do to them, and there's just such a... I've listened to other Billy Woods, like, projects and that, but this was one that really kind of, like, got to me, like, kind of felt like he was, I know it's that kind of cliche where like it's like they're living in your headphones and that, but it literally feels like you're on the phone call with somebody as they're kind of just lamenting about this kind of crisis and these feelings. The Kenny Segal production as well just perfectly matches it. I've only just recently listened to Milo properly for the first time, and I can see why he's such kind of like a staple when it comes to these kind of rappers. But honestly, this is something that maybe down the line that I could do a full video on, because it really, the rapping on this just make, like, every time I hear a line from Billy, I'm usually left going, fuck you, like, it's not fair. You shouldn't be allowed to have this many good bars, especially in a sense where he's not trying to like flex on somebody by doing it. Like, these are really well thought out narratives and analysis, I guess. I was trying to think the plural there, but maybe it's just analysis. So again, here's another album of the year contender for me. It's a 9, easy peasy as well. So I'm gonna pop in back in here. I don't know how far back I need to go. It's David. I'm glad David's getting recognised for his dancing first and then his actual music work. Harry, you said you saw The Cure both times. They're both fantastic. Maybe for this year's show, mostly due to band. Yeah, I do think that the support beforehand felt like Mogwai. I saw Mogwai beforehand, and I'm glad I had my earplugs. They were loud as fuck. But yeah, I think that this was like a. I think this was a. Oh wait, yeah, this year's show. I said last year's. You said you really didn't like the new Vampire Weekend. What's your reasoning for that? I'd like to see that. What score would you give September by Earth, Wind and Fire? A good one. A good one. Floor Seats is a banger. The hook is fine. The hook, I don't think the hook is fine. I think the hook is genuinely nauseating. It makes me. It's the kind of song that exists so you know why your phone has volume limit. That's what I'll say. Yeah, I'm glad that everyone else is kind of in with me when it comes to how good they think the new Billy Woods project. I say how the new Billy Woods project is, but it's really not new, is it? This is kind of why, not why I gave up on reviewing, but just because it kind of never felt like I could say anything of any worth quick enough. And when you're trying to say stuff quick, there's definitely some reviewers who managed to do it, like, can balance the two. Never felt like I could too much, but I like doing it right now. I like talking about it. So I'm just gonna go share this stream on Facebook for some reason, because I'm sure 2 folk on my Facebook feed will probably want to watch. Okay, now Oh, and Billy was apparently dropping another project called Terror Management. I'm buzzing for that so much. Like if it's anywhere near close to this, we're in for a treat. And Aiko's also here. Hello, Aiko. Glad to have you here. So right, take away this 9. I don't know how many albums I've covered at this point. Again, from now on, an album that I really like, I'll talk about in a bit more extent. Other ones, I'm just gonna keep it quite brief. I'm easy to find. I don't know why the image is cropped in this way, but anyway, it's a good national album that goes on too long. I really think, in the same sense with the Vampire Weekend album, I really think you could get like a good 10-track project out of this. The title track on here is stunning. One of the best songs that they've ever done. Like, I feel like if yeah, I don't really know what to say right now. Like, it really is astounding. It puts like just it's like someone's like fucking put like 50 onions around me. Like, that's how much it gets me. You had your soul with you. Let's see what other ones I got here, because I also want to actually name the songs that I'm not too big on, because most of them pop out and kind of like, I was saying this to a pal Josh. I was saying it gets to about the song Where's Her Head. It gets to that song and I'm like, oh, like how long have we got to go? And you see there's still like 7 other songs. Don't really like Hairpin Turns. I don't like Underwater. It's a shame that Rylan is like put right in between there because it's a fucking brilliant song. Yeah, You Had Your Soul With You, Quiet Light, Oblivions, I'm Easy to Find, Sir Fall in the Pool. There's a lot of good in this, but also a lot that just kind of leaves a bit to be desired. So a 7, classic Liam Menzies 7. I'm sure I'm gonna get obliterated by Andy and Jake for that one. Doubt they're watching, but maybe they'll find out. Oh god, Fate here. I don't know why I bothered taking away the 7 there, because this is what this gets. I'd like the new Bon Iver project. 7's a good score. I feel like I have to say that. I do miss the experimentation that they had on 22 Million. I think that's the one thing that maybe I'll get over as time goes on, but I really do think this is maybe like a bit too, like, it takes away too many of the elements that I found made so exciting on this. But it's definitely like an album where all of their eras have been condensed, and I can see why that goes down well for so many folk. And songs like Hey Ma, You Man Like that stretch from Hey Ma to Naeem are fantastic. Shadaya is also a really good song. But sometimes I just feel like both lyrically and instrumentally, I'm not really getting pulled in at all. And at the very least that you can say about 22 Million is like on every single song there was something in the production that just kind of made you, it could have made you irritated, or it could have made you go, oh my god, this is fantastic. It feels like sometimes there's nothing on either end to really draw you in. I think kind of near the start of the album, I kind of get that a little bit. But as the album goes on, I always like start off, I'm always kind of like wish it was a bit, I wish it was a bit more exciting, a bit more experimental. But as the album goes on, like, it does start to make me go, you know what, like, I like what they're doing here. So a 7 seems about right there. If you think I'm a bitch, you should meet GFOTY. I kind of hated this when I first heard it, but I've started to appreciate it a bit more. Still don't think it's good. There's like literally a song where it's just what's the Justin Bieber sorry, and it's so horrible, but it's also so genius. It is like, I can guarantee most of you on the stream just now will hate this if you check it out, but I think it's quite an essential listen this year, just because of it's an EP, so you're only gonna have to like waste like 50 minutes on it, but it's one that's gonna be like, I'm not gonna forget about, regardless of the fact that I do think it's. I'm gonna go for a 5. Actually, no, I'm gonna go for a 6 on it, because I do feel like its quirkiness kind of works in its favor for me, even though I can definitely acknowledge how bad some of it is. Igor, oh, okay then. Yeah, I really like the Nutella Creator Project. Just, I was really not sure how he was gonna follow up. Flower Boy. Wait, quick second. I was really not sure how I was gonna follow up Flower Boy. It just almost felt like that was an album in terms of quality you weren't going to be able to replicate. Um, and I've kind of been going back and forth on the score that I give this, but so that's not an important thing. I think his singing is really rough, but I think it makes it feel a lot more kind of authentic. I know somebody might say, "Well, is it authentic?" He's like putting his voice like through so much of the auto-tune, and that I think it kind of just ties into the whole kind of like almost like monstrous theme that it's always trying to touch on. I know that I think it was David. I was having this conversation with you about the whole Dracula and how you thought it was corny, but I kind of thought it was kind of that cheesy Tyler style that works well for me. But I know that to say that if like another rapper did it, maybe I would find it corny. But I just found it really cool, and this album is just really cool. The production is quite impressive in a lot of ways. It's very like it's all produced by Tyler himself, and while it can be very lo-fi, and you can maybe think to yourself, "Oh, this could have done with a wee bit." I think the kind of ruggishness of it is what makes it so personal. And that there's some lines on this album, especially on what's the Gone Gone Thank You, is it? I'm trying to think that's what it's called, where like he's talking about like planning permission and all that. I'm just thinking to myself like, why hasn't somebody made this sort of like reference before? And it made me kind of like it hit me like right there. That side that my heart's on anyway. At this point in time, I'm gonna go for an 8, but I've been going back and forth between an 8 and 9 all year. This is another album of the year contender for me. I know it's a lower score than the other ones, but like I say, it's gone back and forth. And the Clairo album Immunity, really the only song that I find incredible is Bags, because the kind of piano line on that just is more Vampires of the City incarnate, but it's so like kind of matched in with that whole lo-fi style that she was going with. And what she's singing about like feels actually really sincere. I always feel like whenever she was singing on her other songs, it just always felt like she was underselling things to sound cool, and on here it just feels like, even though it's not got like it's not dripping with emotion, like I think because of the soundscape surrounding her, it feels a lot more genuine. Still think that her singing has a bit to be desired, but I still find myself coming back to a fair few songs on here, which is why I'm going to go for a 6 on it. And last one before I join the chat again, the King Gizzard album. Jake, I hope you're not watching this. Not because I dislike it, and because Planet B and Assimilation as it are just two really really cool songs. Like I'm really big on them, and even just the lyrical themes are pretty much just like the video game Doom. Like it literally just says like moving to a new planet, commodifying it, stripping it of all its like resources. I think maybe it's something that if I give it a few more goes, maybe it'll be something I like a bit more. But I just find it a bit one note. I know that thrash metal usually does feel a bit kind of like cohesive in that, but I just found myself. I just think King Gizzard are more exciting when they're taking these like pre-established genres, like when it comes to like their jazz and their psychedelic rock, and they just inject it with their own kind of like pizzazz. Like I said, there's some good songs on here, but a lot of it just feels kind of whatever for me at the moment. But for now, I'm gonna go for a 6, which I think is a pretty fair score. Right. I'm on my way back, folks. So you thought most of the back end was a slog to get through, and you've not returned to any of the songs you've originally liked. Oh, you still don't enjoy Harmony Hall? That's a weird one. I haven't got to 100 Gecs yet, Aiko. That one will be fun. Most of the new tracks on National were great, but it kind of ends uneventfully. Not much replay value, but a pretty good release. I do agree with you there. I don't think it's something that I'm going to be coming back to all that often. I feel like it's kind of one of those albums that I'll make my own better rendition of it. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. Let's see. What's everyone saying about Igor? Because some of these are agreeing. Yeah, Mike, you're right. Yeah, I'm expecting. I was maybe. I see the thing is, I'm expecting folk to rip into me about it, but on the other hand, it's like the number one album on Radio Music, and loads of folk love it, so it's not quite a hot take. But in that sense, because it's the number one album, a lot of folk are saying like it's worse than it is just for a hot take. I know there's people that genuinely don't like the album and have good reasons for it, but is it eh, Neck? Nej? I'm really sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I don't even know how to pronounce like most of my friends' names properly. Thought Igor was a massive step down lyrically, which is quite. Oh, you thought it was a massive step down lyrically? Oh, that's interesting. Perhaps didn't grab you as much. In the rough vocals, yeah, I'm surprised, but I didn't think it was a massive step. Like, I do think he's kind of reached his peak with his, well, not even his peak, because I don't want to speak too soon. He's still really young, but like Boredom in November, they are two of the most like mature, hard hitting rap songs for me like ever. Like, I think they really touch on a lot of feelings that a lot of like Gen Xers and millennials have felt for quite a while and hadn't been really like put in such a fashion until those songs. And I thought like I think yeah, I don't know, I don't quite agree with you there, but also I'm not gonna argue with you too much because like I have said, there's some kind of lines that could be corny, but I like what's this? New Kids are this top 5 of the year for you. Oh, Yoon, go into a bit more detail on that. Yeah, and Eiko, you found it was fun. I do think that I really think it was, I still need to listen to what was it called again? The Fishies album. Not listened to that yet. But no, I'm still very much of the opinion that Murder of the Universe was like their last quite good album. And yeah, this Shushu video, I'm gonna shout out to David Rowe. He needs me. He needs me for a shout out. Well, right. So injury reserve. I'm gonna take away that 6 away before someone takes it out of context. Every bit as good as I wanted it to be. Like, yeah, there's no two ways about it. I was really apprehensive because I didn't think Jawbreaker was all that. I think to myself, why is this song just not quite the banger that I was hoping it would be? Why is Rico nasty? Like, kind of, almost kind of like cutting our, kind of selling ourselves short. That's the saying I'm trying to think. But in the context of this album now, especially, it is a very injury reserve track. There's that whole bit about Ian Connor that just makes me burst out laughing each time because even though they are on like a label now, it just shows that they're still very much kind of like they haven't like lost kind of like their roots, like they're ready to kind of like call out anybody. The Rico verse actually works really well, because it's kind of talking. I think the whole song in general. I know I'm maybe analysing this song a bit too much, but it's obviously like maybe kind of like them trying to package their worries about being kind of like this new artist on a label, but then being commodified about how sometimes like like this part of your like identity you have to kind of like put it in a wee nudge because it's not going to go well with folk. This is just a release that I think every Injury Reserve fan was hoping for. If you don't like it and you're an Injury Reserve fan, then that's fair enough, but I mean, Jailbreak the Tesla, what a banger. Banger of the year, easily for me. I cannot wait to see these guys in November, I think it is. I also want to give a shout out to the song "What a Year It's Been" because it's like one of those "What a Year It's Been" and "Best Spot" in the House are like two of those just like really emotionally impactful songs that the boys just seem to be able to hit out all the time. I'm trying to think. So 9, obviously another album of the year contender. Is it as good as Floss? I'm not quite sure, but it's as good. It's as good for sure. Right. Up next. Not much I can say about this Otoboki Beaver album. It's a punk release. I don't really think it's much of anything other than that. I found it kind of exciting. It had a good pace to it, but at a certain point it kind of felt like it was repeating itself, at least instrumentally. I will have to say that obviously I can't really follow the lyrics like perfectly, so maybe this is a kind of rating that I'm going to give that maybe in a few months time, once I've actually gave it that sort of like kind of treatment, it might get bumped up. But in terms of judging it on its musical merit, it's fine. It's nothing too special, but it goes down alright. I do think the vocal performance, even though I don't know what's being said, they are at the very least engaging, which is why I'll go for kind of like a light 6 on it. What's up next? Oh, the Hatchie album. Oof. Yeah, the best pop. Well, not so the best pop album of the year because it's dedicated. I was gonna say the best dream pop album of the year, but I can't really think of any competition. But it's one of the best pop releases of the year, hands down. Secret just makes me feel like I'm floating. What's the one? There's Without a Blush. Stay With Me as well. I think every song on this usually kind of like slaps. Like, yeah, Not That Kind, Without a Blush, Obsessed, Secret, Stay With Me, Keep. Yeah, this is just everything that I wanted after that EP. I just find her voice so mesmerizing. The kind of tapestries that she weaves always go in so well. And when she talks about romance, I just think that mainly her delivery just makes me kind of really believe in what she's trying to tell. And Stay With Me is just, oh, like that's the point where, like, if you had like a musical partner and they made a song for you, you would hope it would be something like this. So that's an 8. It's an 8. It's a good gin. Hope you couldn't hear that gulp too much. Right. Don't worry about the name. Nate is pretty close and easier. Okay. Sorry about that, Nate. But it just feels less mature and kind of restricted. I do agree that it's kind of less mature, but I think I like it because of that. Like, I kind of think that at certain points it's really mature when he's reflecting on it, but obviously when he's talking about like on Magic Wand and that, I think there's a bit more variety emotionally, where I just think it's more of a believable as a romance story. Like if he was totally mature the whole way through, then I don't know. I don't think it would hit quite all the emotional nodes that it does. And you just said there, though I suppose the smaller scope of the album does add to the intimacy, and yeah, that is the exact word, intimacy, absolutely. And Mike, what was the album of the year reference to? This is like the one thing I can't. I wish I could have OBS and the chat side by side. Injury Reserve's really high on your list, Aiko. And yeah, super interesting album for sure. Right. So, again, I can't remember how many albums we've went through at this point, but I think we're nearly an hour in. I feel like I'll do it for another half an hour, and if we get through them all, we get through them all. If we don't, then we don't, and I don't know what I'll do. I like this. I like this album. Is that true, Liam? I don't know. I don't know if that's completely true. Let's talk about the stuff that I do like about this Taylor Swift album. I think the Cruel Summer is it pretty much could have just came off 1989, which is still our best album for me. It just puts me in a super good mood. Lover is also brilliant. The Archer, Death by a Thousand Cuts, and You'll Get Better. These are all pretty. I don't want to say expected, but like when you think of like the cream of the crop when it comes to our music, pardon me, that's probably what you're expecting. But there are some horrible songs in here. London Boy sucks. Me sucks. You Need to Calm Down also is. Yeah, I really think. I keep saying this kind of. This move would be better if it was to be kind of like. You could definitely get like a 8-9 track album here and come out with something that would really contest 1989 as her best album. But I feel this is a really mixed bag overall. So a 5, I think that seems pretty fair. Neither bad nor good. It's solid. The Pup album. That's one of my most anticipated albums by some margin, because The Dream Is Over, one of my favourites from 2016, and I think when it comes to Pup managing to encapsulate the anxieties in a really like in that kind of like cartoonish pop punk manner on morbid stuff, I still think they managed to do it. Kids is still a banger. Let's see what other ones I need to list here. But Kids, See You at Your Funeral, Scorpion Hill, sibling rivalry, bare hands. Yeah, I think the only thing that really stops me is that I don't feel that it feels like that much of a step forward for them. That's my only thing. It doesn't feel. It feels like, I know people always say it's like it just sounds like this, so it could have been B sides, but it very much could have been um, the Dream Is Over B sides for me. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So I'm gonna go for 7 on it. Our classic Liam score. What's next? Oh, the Ed Sheeran project. So I don't think Buff isn't here at the moment, is he? No. Me and him were meant to do a video on this, but the video kind of got corrupted at a certain point through it, and so that review never went out. But unsurprisingly, neither of us liked it. I don't think it's like the absolute worst of the worst that I've heard this year, but it's definitely one of the worst albums I've heard. That Justin Bieber song sucks. That Beautiful People, the opener, makes me laugh because of how bad it is. Just like the production is just so over the top, cookie cutter shit, and it's just like I thought this whole project was meant to be like a kind of like a really experimental term, but it's like when you're having like the typical flamenca or kind of like Spanish cut, and you're like, oh, let's get Cardi B on here. Ed Sheeran and her have no chemistry whatsoever. The only good song is that one with Stormzy, and even then, that's only because I think that they've got some sort of chemistry. But he hits out some. Ed is just, he's the worst thing about this album probably. A lot of it sounds pretty dated. It's just, it's not worth checking out even out of morbid curiosity. At least Divide, and Divide at least had Castle on the Hill, which is, I think you can say it's good, but it's solid. This is just, yeah, this is just kind of bad. So 3 out of 10 seems about fair. Slow Tie album, one that I revisited recently because he was on the Brockhampton record. I won't be talking about the Brockhampton record because I'm going to be doing a review with somebody. I don't know if I can even spoil it because it's really a spoiler, but anyway, I'll be reviewing that soon, so watch out for that. But the Slow Tie album, nothing great about Britain. It's pretty good. I think that a lot of what Slow Tie says kind of hits a mark. It really does feel like, I know when you get like idols and that, when they talk about like British politics, they're talking about it in these really good ways, but it always feels so like broad. Whereas like when you hear like Slow Tie talking about like kind of like his Birmingham streets and like being kind of like the man on the ground and that, like I find that something a lot more kind of intimate and kind of more when I say agreeable, I don't mean necessarily what he's saying, even though I do agree with a lot of what he's saying. I just find it kind of like something more that I can get down with because it just feels so much more kind of, I don't really know what I'm trying to say here, but it's like it feels like you're chatting to somebody on the street as opposed to chatting to somebody from the West End of Glasgow. That's what I'm trying to say. I will say that production could be a bit more exciting. Cause you get something like Doorman that it's just got such like a rhythm and pace to it that it feels like you're running away from all these like kind of like fears and just worries that he's talking about, and all the adversity he's facing as well. But there's some lines on this as well that I think are quite corny. I know that he's very, very Dizzy Rascal influence. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of his lines could walk that very thin line. Don't think he does it too much himself, but 7 out of 10 is a very promising debut project. I really think that he's going to come out with something. I think this got nominated for a Mercury Prize. Right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 5 more of these, and then we'll just do. Actually, we'll do 2 more of these. We'll do chat. I'll probably do another roundup in October, and I'll cover the rest there. Hopefully that sounds good to you guys, but I just don't want you guys getting so bored by me just kind of plotting along. Right. So last 2. Oh, funnily enough, the Veil Smith project Origami. Whenever I'm in the shower or whenever like I've just kind of got like I want to clean my room or something, I put this on because it just gets me so hyped. It is just kind of like, I think it's like about half an hour or so of just these beats that just really like fill you with adrenaline. It's the kind of beats that really stand on their own, but also make me really want like him to collaborate with like a rapper. Like I'd love to see somebody working on some of these beats. like Godzilla, where it's like you're just kind of being, it feels like you're getting transported to like an N64 platformer level or something. Really just fun stuff. The only thing I'll say is that the palette can get maybe a little bit too similar at points, but I don't think that takes away from like the enjoyment that I get from it. So that's a 7. And lastly, the Tabby project recorded in my car. Not good. Weird his influence in the sleeves too much, and like I say, that can sometimes be a good thing if you're doing something interesting with them. But he's just trying to balance a lot of like Brockhampton, Anderson .Paak stuff, and I just don't think he's doing. I think he's not even on the level where like he's meeting them like one to one. Like he's still like kind of looking out a bit too much and just not quite getting there. He's really lacking a creative voice as well as like an actually good rapping kind of voice. Like good for him for following his dream and doing what he wants to do. I know he got a shout out from Jonah Hill, which is cool. But for me, I don't think I'm gonna bother with him after this. 4 out of 10 for me. But that's all the stuff that I'll talk about just now. So I don't know if there's for like 10 minutes. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to like talk about at all. Just chuck some sort of question into the chat, and we can maybe talk about it. Well, wait, and he's doing that. I should probably talk because I've talked about Tyler and Rae Jepsen. I should probably talk about the 100 Gecs project just because I'm putting in the title. Wait, let me just actually get it up. Don't take this out of context. Artwork. There we go. Okay, so 1,000 Gecs by 100 Gecs, easily going to be one of the most divisive albums of the year. I've already seen how it's doing on Rate Your Music, but personally I love it so much. At first I thought, I thought it was kind of like Random XD the album, but the more you sit with it, the more you can tell that this isn't just like this duo like just hitting random buttons and just kind of going, oh, this sounds alright. Like it does feel like a type of songwriting that feels so meticulous yet so just unleashed and untamable. It really does actually hit kind of an emotion mark at points. Like Ringtone is like, I think the kind of like the metaphor I used was if I threw my old like 2007 mobile phone with all like my bass hunter and that on it into like a vat of toxic acid, and the phone survived it, and somebody got it and they played the music, and that's what I would expect to sound like, this mutated assortment of naughties like kind of sound palettes. And I think that it just really works. Like sometimes an album just can be that fun. And I think that it's so fun that I'm fine giving it a 9 for me. Again, another album of the year contender. I went into this having no expectations. All I knew was that it was weird. That's all I knew, and it was still weirder than I expected it to be. But Ringtones, Stupid Horse, Money Machine, probably my top 3 on that one. But okay, that's that there. My throat's actually getting dead sore now, so maybe I'm gonna call it quits there. I don't actually know how many albums I managed to work through there, but I'll count it and I'll put it in the title so it's at least accurate. But I think an hour and 10 minutes, that's good. I apologise for the streaming issues I had at the start, but that was my bad there. Best Pringles flavour is salt and vinegar. Could eat that for days. Thanks for that, like. But I think we'll call it. Quits there. Thank you guys for watching as always. Should hopefully be streaming again next month. This is like a lot of fun. Again, I think I'm gonna try and keep these to like an hour long because I think it works better that way. But hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your night or your day, depending on where you are just now. and I'll see you guys real soon. Don't know what the next video. I know what the next video is going to be. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I was happy with how the fictional musicians video did. It kind of quote unquote underperformed in terms of views, but in terms of the people that liked it seemed to really like it, and that's really what matters. And it was something I wanted to make anyway, so who really cares how it does as long as I feel fulfilled, you know? But anyway, I'm gonna head off. Probably gonna play some Switch or something. But yeah, as always, stay safe, stay hydrated. You didn't see that. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.